This old couple is being chased by a group of assassins who kill the man who is driving with a strange calmness, while the woman reacts like lightning, pulls out her gun and aims straight at him, then pulls the trigger, causing the car behind to blow out its tires, sending the whole group on a never-ending vacation. But it doesn't stop there. The assassins play big and call in helicopters for support. Missiles from above are shot down like rain. In the middle of a storm, the sky and earth are shaking, yet the man still maintains his composure, as if he is driving along the beach, performs a driving maneuver, so high that even 10 Fast and Furious films combined might not be able to match him. Appears exactly like a guardian angel from an American action movie, carrying a gun as big as electric pole, looking up to the sky and handing out tickets to the final resting place to the entire helicopter crew hovering high above, only because the acceleration is too fast and too dangerous. The car almost plunged into the abyss in a slow-motion Bollywood-style shot that made everyone's hearts in the car feel like they were about to fly out of their chests. This was Michael, a top-level bodyguard in the industry with a 20-year record of no negligence, famous in the international security world. This time he was assigned to escort a Japanese arms dealer back to his country by private plane. But as the plane was about to take off, she suddenly made. Michael, stunned, the failed level mission became an indelible stain in his career. 2 years passed. He relied on his previous reputation to try to stay in the industry, but only received difficult missions that few people paid attention to. This time, Michael met a new client, an eccentric lawyer who acted crazy, and then he cursed Michael badly for being late, not knowing that during that late period Michael had secretly investigated the entire surrounding environment for safety reasons. Michael resolutely ignored the clients. Rolls-Royce instead that chooses, shiz unattractive little for. Though the current tasks are no longer flashy, Michael's professional competence cannot be underestimated while at the international court in JH Netherlands. Special trial that attracts attention is taking place. The former president of Belarus, Duvik, is being sued by a professor and many other victims accused of committing mass genocide. The professor testified in court that 3 years ago he had written an article criticizing the Duku regime and was brutally retaliated against. Even his family was murdered on Dukovik's orders. At this time, outside the court, a large number of people protested and gathered. The national television station continuously reported that although the professor's testimony was convincing, due to the lack of concrete evidence, the case fell into a deadlock. Key witnesses who were supposed to testify recently suddenly disappeared. However, there was one person who caused the case to take a turn. The assassin Kinket, who had carried out the assassination for Duku to become the only witness who could go to court. The international police offered attractive conditions as long as Kinket participated. The court convicted Dukukovic. His wife, who was being held, would be pardoned, although Kinket's lawyer tried to negotiate more rights. But he did not hesitate to sign the agreement. Immediately after that, he was transferred to the International Court in the Netherlands. Knowing that he had become a thorn in the eyes, many forces were suspicious of the escort force. Although they always guaranteed safety, he also requested to be given a gun and a private car to the station, but was flatly refused, and finally the police were forced to go with the escorten. The road he was chatting happily with the agents while being highly vigilant as expected. Suddenly a torrential rain of bullets shot into the escort car. The body of the car was shot through like a beehive. The police stopped the car to counterattack, but the enemy's firepower was too strong. The situation is immediately chaotic. Kinet and the female agent Eli mark it in the car during the chaos. Kinet picks up the car key that fell on the floor, looking for a chance to escape when the other agents get out of the car to fight the enemy approaching. Using special equipment to open the roof, the car is hanging by a thread. Kinet convinces Eli to cooperate when buying a car that is opened. Smoke fills the air. Kinet uses his rich mercenary experience to counterattack, having participated in many cases in more than a dozen countries. He is very flexible and strong alone against 10 enemies in the line of fire. But the enemy is too numerous after defeating many of them. He is shot and falls down with all his might. He picks up 2 guns and runs into the alley. Eli runs after him and gives him a pair of handcuffs. Closed handcuffs suspecting internal police international. Traitors warn Eli to leave there immediately. Both hide in a house safe for fear of the communication device being tapped. Wiretapping strictly forbids Eli from listening. Phone. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, Michael was enjoying a VIP black car wash service but was disappointed by the smell. In the car, at that moment, his ex-girlfriend Eli called directly asking him to bring a blood to assist and promised to help him restore his third-class bodyguard title. This condition made who were having difficulties in his career, unable to refuse despite a heated argument over the phone. He finally decided to accept the mission in the safe house. Kinket's injury was getting worse and worse. He decided to take the bullet out himself. Off the leg, no painkillers, he pretends to be a lawyer. Calls the prison to talk. To his wife Sony, hears his wife's familiar scolding voice. Kinet temporarily forgets the pain while treating the wound and singing love songs to his wife. But the call is suddenly cut off. Sony angrily throws the phone, not knowing a prisoner in the corner is, looking at her with an unusual gaze. Michael brings a gun and a pass to the place to meet Eli again when he knows the mission. This time as a high-level escort. Michael bursts out with his long-suppressed emotions, blaming him being classified as a 3A bodyguard on leaking information about the Japanese businessman before. That unreasonable criticism, Eli only knows the village changes the subject to invite Michael. To meet the person needs protection when Michael enters the room and meets Kinet, the atmosphere is about to explode. Turns out, the two are mortal enemies, have fought many times and become deeply enmity after the confrontation tense Kinet raised his gun to remove the bullets from Michael's gun because of excessive blood loss. Kinket fainted at the same time. The identity of the traitor within the international police gradually revealed. The deputy police chief unexpectedly came to meet Dukovic. It turned out he was the long-hidden insider. He came to demand money. After the mission did not meet expectations, he thought he had taken a big risk and had to be paid. But he did not expect Dukovic to be easily manipulated. He snatched the pen and stabbed it hard into his hand, scolding him for being greedy and declaring that if he had not confirmed Kin's death, he would not dream of receiving money while at the safe house. Kinket was transfusing blood to sustain his life. Eli kept emphasizing to Michael the importance of this mission, trying to convince the other to accept the protection mission. But Michael still carried the wound from the past in his heart, resolutely refused, not wanting to become a bodyguard again in a subject involved in dark cases. Faced to Michael Werner's tough attitude, offers an attractive condition. As long as he helps complete this mission, she will do her best to help him return to the elite special forces team, urged by that promise. Michael finally accepts. The international police secretary has found out the news, reported to the director that someone appeared in the safe house. However, this information, after many layers of transmission, fell into the hands of the deputy police chief with bad intentions. This insider did not hesitate to immediately reveal it to Dukovic, not long after a large police force had surrounded the safe house. Dooku's henchmen also quickly took action. At this time, the atmosphere in the house changed when Kinket woke up. The previous tension gradually dissipated through the humorous exchanges between the two, but that brief peace was quickly broken by the ringing. The landline suddenly rang. It was a top bodyguard. Michael understood the international police's tricks. An unanswered phone was no different than an invitation to immediately lead to the enemy's pursuit, as expected. The enemy quickly appeared. Michael and Kinket immediately entered a state of combat. Through reconnaissance, they discovered two enemies hidden behind the door. Relying on extensive experience, Michael proposed a plan to retreat by the northern staircase, but Kinkeith had his own idea as a super assassin. He understood the importance of weapons and insisted on being equipped with a gun, willing to act when the action began. The difference in the fighting style of the two was clearly shown. Kinket shot down the enemy, Eek shot accurately on the stairs, while Michael used his flexible body to easily take down two enemies, although their fighting ways were different. But in the moment of life and death, their coordination was extremely good. After successfully breaking through to the roof, Michael began to plan a retreat, find a way to avoid the enemy's eyes and ensure safety. but Kinket is impatient. So, he rummaged around and accidentally fell into the armored box below, causing a loud noise, finally climbed onto Michael's carket. Kin has not yet provoked the situation of the past. Oifong now losing power of his friend is two mice who used to play on the boundary of life and death. They clearly understand the current car is too prominent. Need to change vehicles immediately to escape pursuit on the road. Michael always wondered, with Kingit's strength, how could he be easily caught by the International? Police before this question, King Ket frankly admitted the reason during a mission to assassinate him. He suddenly received news that his wife had a car accident in the middle of the mission, and King Ket's family chose to abandon the target, immediately flew back to Mexico, but waiting for him was a trap announced by the shoe police. More than 20 agents were ready lathe net in the hospital once. On a mission, King ended up putting Michael in the sights. But at the moment of pulling the trigger, an unexpected incident caused him to miss the opportunity. Now the identities of the two completely reversed. The person who dreamed day and night of killing Maiko is now being protected by him as a screw guest. At the same time, the police came to Sonia, the safe wife, to get information, but Sonia, because the police had lost her husband, angry, scolded in a fight. Sobody was scolded so miserably the police had to return empty-handed on the run. Full of danger, Kinkit decided to get off the car to escape. But he clearly underestimated Michael's vigilance. Before he could act, the sandwich assassin shot appeared and fired wildly at the car. The two were sitting in, clearly not intending to let anyone survive. Kinet suggested splitting up to see who could kill the most difficult enemy in the middle first, but he didn't follow any rules, and before he finished counting, had fired first with extraordinary shooting techniques. They quickly took down 3 enemies, however. The enemy's firepower was too strong, causing the car to be hit by many bullets and finally exploded. Thinking the danger had passed, unexpectedly, when the two were discussing the next, the trunk of the car suddenly exploded for unknown reasons. The gun inside automatically fired bullets, flying like a rain of flowers, waiting ironically. The enemy car was hit by bullets and also exploded. Immediately, the two intended to use the enemy car to escape the wilderness, but due to this incident, had to walk on foot. While teasing the situation, history also fell into his own romantic memories many years ago. In a bar, King Ket met his fateful lover, Sonia Biss. When Sonia was surrounded by a group of bad guys, King Ket decided to help, but unexpectedly, the other side used his superb fighting skills to perfectly express the violent aesthetics of that performance, made Kinet stunned, and immediately determined that this woman was his destiny every time. It got dark. A bus appeared as if to save the situation, to take the trip to Amsterdam where Sonia was being held. Both the two did not hesitate to get on the bus. They traveled with a group of nuns despite the danger. The singing and optimistic attitude of the nuns brought a warm and hopeful feeling to the trip. When they reached the ferry, Michael wondered why those gentle nuns loved someone like King Ket, who had many criminal records during the journey on the ferry. King Ket told again the story of a 56-year-old teenager. A thug broke into the church and murdered the kind pastor man. Many years later, fate arranged that murderer got into King's car. Ket. He hid in the back seat waiting for the opportunity. Then a gunshot rang out. The crows in the sky scared away. That memory was forever imprinted in King Ket's heart through countless certainties. They finally arrived at Michael's safe base, while Michael rummaged through his bag preparing for the next action. Then the trial of President Dukovic was taking place tensely. As an important witness, King Katonli had less than 4 hours left to appear in Cortelli. The international police were now impatient, to the point of exploding, just hoping King Ket would arrive on time. But at the crucial moment, Michael called I and uttered a cryptic sentence. "I forgive you." He heard and was furious because this completely avoided the current urgent situation. After the call ended, Michael discovered that King Ket had left based on his understanding of his teammates. Quickly guessed King Ket's intention. Ket turned out that King Ket had bought a hat to disguise and meticulously chose a basket of flowers. Tylip quietly walked towards the prison where his wife was imprisoned. On the way, many mysterious people tried to block him, but Michael, with the skills of a top bodyguard, promptly intervened. King Ket finally reached the church opposite. The prison placed a basket of flowers, symbolizing love here, the two people. One inside, the cabinet. One outside, looked at each other through the building, their eyes filled with love. Left the church. King Ket curiously asked about the conversation between Michael and I when he heard Michael say Eli was the one who revealed information about King Ket's arsenal, laughed loudly, and finally revealed the secret that had been hidden for 3 years. Sky turned out that year while on duty at Kinget Airport accidentally discovered the whereabouts of the corrupt arms dealer. Hat-trick, he completed the most perfect sniper shot in his career from a distance of $300 miles. When Michael heard the story, he realized he had misunderstood Ella for 2 years, knowing the truth. Michael, full of regret, could only confide his feelings to the owner of the roadside water shop at that moment. Then King Ket was discovered by the enemy. Gunfire rang out, causing the peaceful neighborhood to fall into chaos at this time. Michael was still busy complaining to the boss, completely did not realize that King Ket was in danger, relying on his agility. King Ket in time jumped onto a light rail train, taking advantage of its complex structure to avoid the enemy's vision. However, they did not give up, but continued to drive, to chase and kill after losing all their feelings. Michael immediately returned to his instincts. The profession quickly ended the conversation, and the start of the action of the Kinseys. The opportunity to rob a yacht to escape the pursuit, but the enemy large group has managed to chase to the shore and shoot crazily at the yacht in the moment of 1,000 pounds hanging by a thread. Michael circled behind, the enemy using sniper skills to take down the gunman in the car while he was assisting the police to arrest Dukovich's subordinates, but unexpectedly another gang of robbers secretly followed Michael, immediately sped onto his motorbike and ran away. And in the moment, the enemy changed direction. He quickly turned, the wheel causing the enemy's car to lose control and plunge into the river. But the danger of the Kins was not over yet. An enemy carrying a gun launched a grenade aimed straight into the yacht. At the most dangerous moment, Michael promptly appeared. The gunman fell, causing the bullet force to be directed. However, Michael was captured immediately. He was then brutally attacked by his father. They used a wet towel to cover his head. He clamped the wire in his ear, repeatedly asking King Ket where King Ket was when Michael was dying. King Ket suddenly appeared from behind the enemy, a killer-famous gangster. Ket acted decisively, defeated the enemy in the blink of an eye, saved Michael successfully. Then the two got in the car and left the scene. On the way, King Ket apologized to Michael for the injury. That year's gunshot not only caused him to lose his girlfriend, but also his AA-class bodyguard title to ensure safety. They changed cars, unlocked the ignition, and drove out of the parking lot in a series of unexpectedly seamless movements. They had an car accident. The airbag popped out. King Ket pulled out. The gun exploded the airbag. Now there were only 20 minutes left until the trial. King Ket, one over steering wheel, continued driving to the courthouse. On the way, Michael called Eli to apologize for the misunderstanding in the past. But at that moment, the enemy caught up again. King Ket was forced to change direction when Michael mustered up his courage to ask Eli to turn back. They were forced to split up. King Ket drove away, escaped in a hail of bullets, and rushed from the park to the construction site. The car was riddled with holes, but still did not slow down the mercenary team. The pursuit suffered heavy losses. One car lost control and fell into the water. But the remaining cars continued to crash together. Finally, a large truck blocked the way and stopped them while Michael ran into the subway and fought fiercely with the enemy in a narrow tunnel while running away. I made a call, but the phone fell to the passenger seat and was picked up by King Ket. He told Eli Michael truly loved her. He just wasn't good at expressing his feelings at the moment. Michael hid in a restaurant kitchen, pretending to be embarrassed, but actually hiding his talent from his pursuer, showing his superior skills. He took down 2 men. The leader of the mercenaries still followed, and the two fought all the way to the store. Michael used an iron chain to wrap around his neck, jumped over the shelf, and hung him upside down, then signaled someone to give him a gun, and finished him off in this chaotic fight. Michael proved he was worthy of being the #1 bodyguard at the same time. Ket drove to the rescue when the moment of the trial approached. An old car braked hard in front of the court. The important witness came just in time when passing through the security gate. He took out 5 weapons in succession, showing the vigilance of a professional assassin when entering the court. Kin exposed the plot. Dukovic once wanted to hire him, but he refused because he could not accept his brutality. He even showed photographic evidence of Dooku's crimes, recorded online under clear evidence. Dooku's crimes were exposed, but he was not willing to accept it. Immediately signaled for subordinates to carry out a contingency. Plan Atruck with bombs rushed in the chaos. Dooku. Vi snatched the gun and shot. King Ket Michael rushed out to take the bullet for him. King Katanli then understood that the friendship surpassed the benefits between the two immediately afterwards. Dukovic led his subordinates to the rooftop to wait for the helicopter to respond. At the same time, I discovered that the deputy sheriff was a traitor, but was nearly killed by him. Kivik thought he could escape the helicopter suddenly, lost control, and gradually lowered the altitude. Then it turned out that King Ket had secretly dealt with the gunman, and the pilot he slowly approached made a Dukovic desperate and immediately shot and broke King Ket's 2 legs. Dukovic thought King Ket did it just to reduce the sentence and create a heroic image. But King Ket by action proved that this was revenge, because he had hurt Michael. Finally, Dukovic fell from the rooftop to his death on the roof of the car after the storm. Michael not only complete the Bodyguard mission, and also returned to I to regain the title of third-class bodyguard. The 2 former rivals, also because of this experience, became sworn brothers to death, but peace did not last soon after the global ordered alert news of the assassin Kin Ket breaking. Prison caused a stir. However, at this time, Kin Ket was at a bar full of memories, hugging his wife, celebrating their wedding anniversary. The bloody months had turned into peace in a moment. The terrorist group, this time played big, tested an attack high-tech virus, made the whole world cry. They used a VIP Pro super drill to poke straight into the national power system. As soon as activated through the computer, the whole area evaporated like New Year's Eve fireworks. All the equipment connected to the power grid started dancing, lost control like a car, losing its brakes, causing a series of explosions that made thousands of people disappear in an instant. But these phases were just indifferent because the ultimate goal of them is the whole of Europe is expected to make the old continent faint. Invite you, and you enjoy the movie. Bodyguard. 2 Houses of the Roof, 2021 opening scene. After the hard work of protecting the assassin. In Part 1. Michael, the national bodyguard, is being advised by a doctor-psychologist to temporarily put down his weapons and travelgo to the hair of his soul and choose the beautiful island of Capri in Italy to relax. He dreams lying down reading books. Chiunu, the retired tycoon, but life is not like a dream tree, wants to be quiet, but when don't stop dancing, just about to relax. A lady appeared, grabbed her hand, ran like us. Michael also panicked and ran after her, not understanding what was going on. It turned out that this lady was Sonia King, the wife of a notorious assassin, Kin Ket Ngoi, who had been protected by Michael in the previous part. Kinet, now being plucked by the Mafia, and Sonia went to find someone to save her husband, following the denials of her husband. Michael wondering, how did she know I was here? It turned out that her sister was playing big, forcing information from Michael's psychologist Sotha. 2 of them carried their burdens and ran away, shooting like Film Fast and Furious, the comedy version. Michael didn't use a gun, so he had to be the reluctant driver of the green Vespa. Hearing Sonia, he sat behind and fired like a Call of Duty player. But after running a few hundred meters, the bike flipped over and fell to the ground. The dead end. There was no other way. The 2 of them had to jump into the sea to escape like a fish. Sonia said she was on a honeymoon, dressed sexy to the point of fainting to seduce her husband. But what she received was a paper with the words, "I'll be back soon," accompanied by a phone call. Her husband was captured by the MAFIA, so they both went to an arms dealer to prepare their tools. Sonia immediately chose a machine gun, like going to the market to choose vegetables. Michael was more modest, asked for pepper spray, which was gentle but painful for a long time. Meanwhile, in Croatia, the terrorists began trading hard drives containing electronic network data. A hacker used a diamond drill to illegally access the system that had not yet been updated. Windows was hacked, and immediately after that, a series of electrical short circuits lost control. Nationwide black outage burned the computer, and people screamed like a festival. But the boss smiled brightly as if he had won. He had immediately paid his underlings to go rip off. Robbery in the middle of a sea of people who were scared-faced immediately. A high-ranking senator got involved and gave Agent Bobby Super Interpol mission to destroy the terrorists and retrieve the hard drive. Fast-forward scene to Terracina, Italy, where the capital is being captured by the Mafia boss and given a special care by a butcher who specializes in butchering pigs, but not to butcher pigs. Michael and Sonia find the place to plan the rescue peak of intelligence. Sonia does not need to play any role, just rush in like the roof of the house, omnipotent handling each. Mafia like going to the market. Hit Michael unlucky, then stick to the roof to disable. Security camera, the two cooperate, top like a guardian, does not catch Love. Love Kinkit takes the opportunity to smash the henchman legs, even the same name is given, immediately. A copper candy in the middle of boredom. Love is to shoot, must be accurate. After reuniting, Sonia reveals, I said call anyone, just don't be that Michael Barse. But in the end, it was still this guy was dragged into the intelligence drama and then was mercilessly defamed. It was really more stinky than shrimp paste mixed with vermicelli and bean curd. All three just escaped from the Mafia and was kidnapped. Agen by the government Interpol now asked them to pretend to be the Mafia to buy back the stolen hard drive. It was really impossible to retire. He chose me. Michael was tortured by his wife. Old couple ate dog food all the way on the way to fill up the gas station. Sonia saw her husband happily, answered the phone and went crazy, thinking there was a mistress stepping on the gas like Fast 10. May sitting next to him like a punching bag practicing martial arts. Then the whole group went to Portofino to make a deal. Sonia played the role of mistress. Michael was a bodyguard. Please, don't touch the roof of the house. People also had a plan to shoot from afar, but the hard drive seller Vladimir played dirty, put an explosive device on Sonia's hand. Only needed to go 5 m away, and it was like fireworks. A drunk man unexpectedly recognized Mai. The bodyguard was a good-for-nothing. The boss was also suspicious and even criticized Sonia Asa, salt-selling old woman. She was hot-blooded, shot without missing a shot, swept clean like a window cleaner. High-speed Keen Ket and Michael coordinated harmoniously. Finally, Sonia personally dealt with Vladimir to let him know the consequences of disparaging women. A guy sneaked behind, intended to play the finishing blow, but Michael pushed Sonia away and received a shotgun blow. Fell down. Sonia was both angry and sympathetic. Stole the gun to retaliate for Michael. Interpol rushed in. But the sister had already stolen the canoe to carry Michael, and the data suitcase escaped like going on a Mediterranean tour. Thinking Michael had gone to meet his ancestor Sonia, and Kin Ket decided to bury him in the water. Unexpectedly, he woke up in the middle of the sacred turns. Out he was wearing bulletproof armor, saw still alive and well as usual. The group went to Florence to stop the terrorists. King Ket discovered a notorious assassin named Gentoas, following them while fleeing. Michael was dizzy from drinking the wrong drink, drug to reduce insanity. Yes, drug for Sonia. Michael strained to drive like a movie Hollywood, action swerving and weaving, riffed like a god. But that was in his head. In reality, he fainted from the first turn. It was the old couple carrying back bent, Kinet, self-driving. Sonia shot the tire. The enemy destroyed the ones following them. Called plus helicopter. Rockets shot like rain. But King Ket still calmly showed level 10 driving, and Furious combined still couldn't compete with Kinkit. Appearing like a guardian angel carrying a gun sending. The whole group on the helicopter back to him, but because of flying too fast and too dangerously, almost crashed into the abyss like a slow-motion scene in a Bollywood movie, while Michael, after the passing out phase, woke up as if was called in the parking lot. He led the old couple, with a strong scent of old love, to his foster father's house. And surprisingly, his foster father was a famous former bodyguard who had won a 3A award or something, roughly prestigious like an Oscar. A copy of Uncle King froze for 5 seconds when he discovered that Michael's father was black. Shocked to the point of dropping a glass of water, Brad twist even more shocking than a Korean movie on Saturday night dinner took place in a warm atmosphere like. In a MSG commercial at this time the second twist appeared. Michael was just an adopted child who was adopted by his father after an accident that took away his biological mother. But his foster father always believed in inspiring and wanted Michael to become a captain. America, a true hero. He also gave him a tattered car loved like a treasure, making Michael emotional to the point of almost crying like the kid's TikToker lost the channel. The group set off, driving like a dream to a house. The house, the $1 million mansion where my con started. The comedy tells about the great father, and the old couple took advantage of the opportunity to show off. The continuous food without warning while being romantic. The whole group was ambushed with drugs, sleeping as if they had never slept before waking up. Woke up to find themselves in the super evil castle, the Liberates. Sonia. The old female lead had a passionate past with the boss after. He whispered a few sexy words. The older sister suddenly turned on the memory mode. The past turned 180 degrees to become the new queen of Liberace, both powerful, and classy Michael and King Ket were shipped straight to the basement to be tortured. Like in the depths of reality TV, who was the most painful person? Ket was shocked. Like a squid, and Michael didn't need a father. Tan confessed like a singer, but it turned out it was just a money-making performance. Both rose with a combo counterattack godly, sadly defeated all the butchers and destroyed the circle run like never before. Meanwhile, Sonia has come back to the rich boy, leaving King Ket alone with a lump of anger as big as a rice cooker. So he and Michael go back to find the foster father to ask for help. But oh my God, can you believe it? The torn red car that was lent to him is lying in the yard. It turns out the old man used to be Liberace's man, and personally reported the news to arrest the whole group. The drama is not over yet. He also filed a complaint with the Bodyguard Council, causing Michael to be banned from working forever. Michael is so angry that he took a can of gasoline and burned it, the old man's beloved car, considering it to stop being father and son from now on. He dragged along, the mood slowly dissipated like Eric's song, looking for King Ket at the bar. The two of them now, like two broken-hearted people who have been beaten by life and face down confiding in each other's interests. They immediately became comrades. Suddenly Sonia called to warn them to run away quickly. Those Liberaces are about to release the hunting dogs. Sister also conveniently explored the secret room and discovered plotted to attack the whole of Europe at that moment. The soldiers of Liberates rushed in and fired bullets like Rainkin Ket shot down the outside convoy and borrowed their car to escape. Michael drove like a god of wind, crossed the checkpoint and crashed into the wall flip cat. Even got a bonus punch from the enemy, but still calm as if nothing had happened. King Ket now confided honestly. Years ago in Brooklyn, a stray bullet of his made by Trey go away forever. The result was lifelong infertility. Tragedy, but still laughed because he had a teammate, like Michael. King Ket gave Michael a woman with ears, like the sky looked, to reset his mind to get rid of the Bodyguard, labor-lived for justice to protect Europe, but just finished being caught by Interpol shining, like dried fish thought the movie was. Over who would have thought? This was the last yoke both were summoned, to receive the mission to block the gates of hell. Michael, now grown up, made a demanded a boat and 2 agents. Decoys. Gary and Johan received mission rushes out to be a supporting actor who dies a tragic death, but chooses the meaning of a bodyguard who ends up shocking, all because this lame plan is successful, and Michael is in mourning like a state funeral in Vioro agent. Bobby leads troops to attack the construction site, but, oh well, this is just a point to install a sewage pipe. The drill-biter giant is really drilling under the seabed to this country. The fate of Europe has to bet on the combo of the unemployed bodyguard and the assassin playing on the ship. The clown group successfully infiltrates the security guards can ends up like wild chickens. Michael and King Ket splits up to make the game more interesting. Michael encounters the super bodyguard. He lost hand-to-hand combat, so he switches to hand-to-hand combat pepper sprays and uses a Hanoi beer bottle to knock out the opponent like the Old Town Playboy. King Ket on this side compares guns with the assassin Gentao. This guy has a gun technology to penetrate walls but can't penetrate the butt-shooting shot. Peak Rentu falls. Down virus is about to spread. Liberate's forced to go to battle naked. The West holds a machine gun and shoots. The scumicle rushes to point the gun at his head. But the foster father doesn't appear protest anymore. Here the scene of chaos erupts. Sonia then handles beautifully. The henchwoman frees her husband and calls the boss with a precise slash. Accurately, Michael also sends the foster father home with a mini knife cute for my cue before leaving. The old man still tries to remind. The virus explodes. The whole ship goes away. My child. The three people run through the wind and run like never before. Fortunately, the Halo, the main character, saved the lives of the whole Interpol team, then gave the whole gang 48 hours to rest, which was actually 48 hours to relax before continuing. To hunt down Michael, enjoyed the thought of getting his license back, signed a quickie, which was the adoption papers of the super cool couple Sonia and King Ket, were speechless. The movie was over, and what did you think of the movie? Comment below. Bye and see you again.